Hey Lionheart folks, it's Lev. Welcome back to another video. For those of you who are new and use he and pronouns, this one is not an autistic related video because that's not my entire channel. I want to talk about different things. But there will be more autism content coming, and I do plan to make more autism related videos and talking about that stuff. But for now, little change in topic, and today I wanted to talk about sort of progressive learning and I guess starting something and sticking to it and learning for fun, and just my thoughts on this whole thing, like progressive learning. I don't know if that's right. Learning over time, learning skills, building habits, and stuff like that. Before filming this video, I was recording guitar stuff. So I am learning guitars, recording guitar, random guitar playing in BandLab, which is the music recording app and music production program I use. And I have been learning guitar for the past 2 months. And it's quite funny because a few years ago, this was before I started drumming, I tried to learn guitar. I learned it for a little bit. I found it semi-fun, and then I just got bored of it, and then I discontinued. I learned like Happy Birthday and like Love Yourself by Justin Bieber on guitar, like part of Love Yourself. I knew how to play like Happy Birthday somewhat okay. Did not learn proper technique though, didn't really practice fret hands or anything, so the way I learned was awful. I just dived right into playing stuff and not knowing how the technique of this hand and how to actually strum properly and etc. So I re-engaged with guitar 2 months ago, and I have absolutely been loving it. Just a quick side note is that drumming was the first thing I took up, and these are trans drumsticks that my friend custom made for me for my birthday. She painted these, like they didn't sell it. Not that I'm aware of, sell it in the shop. So my friend custom made this for me. I've been drumming for like on and off since like 2020. Much better drummer now than I was when I started. Yeah, this drumming's like drumming, guitar things I'm both playing. So I love music. I'm like listen to music all the time. I like playing music. I like listening to music. I like experimenting with music. I like just making beats. I like music things. Anyway, back on topic. I have literally been spending the past 2 months. I haven't even learned chords yet. I haven't learned any chords yet. And I haven't even gone halfway to where I want to be before I even start learning chords. And that's literally practicing holding frets like this is the 5th one, right? Like this, just playing learning individual strings. I can't even play properly. Like 1, 2, 3, 4, and then next hand 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4. Playing 4 on each, then playing 2 on each, and then playing 1 on each, and then I move, and then I'm only starting to get confident with the second string playing individual notes, like individual notes on one string, just moving the different fret hands around. I've literally only started being confident in the second string. I haven't gone to the 3rd string or the 4th or the 5th or the 6th, let alone start playing chords. And I will explain the point of why I'm saying this to you. So why did I give that example? It's because learning in general, learning new skills, whatever it may be with learning, my example is music, whatever it may be that we are trying to take up, start, you know, for example, someone wanting to start a YouTube channel, or starting to learn an instrument, or, you know, learning a new skill in a job, or literally anything, learning cooking, learning gardening, learning whatever it may be. The possibilities are endless. There has to be we have to start with foundational skills. And the reason I took it slow with guitar is because when I started learning drumming, I was just so preoccupied with speed. Before I even knew how to drum, before I knew how to drum, before I knew how to drum, before I got basic fundamental techniques down packed, I was just so like, because I saw all the pro drummers on YouTube, right? I'm like, oh my God, I want to do that. And I just like tried too hard, right? I tried too hard. We were trying to do things too fast. And then I didn't get the results I want. I'm like, why is my hand so stiff? Like, why am I not be able to play like the pro drummers? And in my mind, and now I realize, or like when I realize, it's because I don't have fundamental techniques down packed. All the professional drummers I saw started with basics, got good with basics, and then went up to advanced. It's like what I tried to do was go to advanced before I even mastered basics. Essentially, I tried to do level 100 before I completed level 10. Try to do it too fast. Therefore, I have not repeated the same thing when I was trying to learn guitar again. And that is why I've been taking so long just to learn the basics. I have not even started learning chords. I'm still on the second string with doing the exercises and being competent at it. Like mastering it enough that I can do more advanced things like learn chords. Because if you think about it, this is essentially the foundation. My understanding is it's the foundation of playing guitar is you have to move your hand. I think it's called a fret hand. I don't know words for guitar. Fret hand, the hand that holds down the strings, you have to move it around to play, and you have to be able to hold it down, different strings, different frets, without squishing the other strings so that if we play a chord, it doesn't get muted. And that all comes from finger dexterity, and that's something that develops over time. It's not just something that happens like this. And even just within 2 months of doing literally the same thing over and over and over again, I have noticed significant progression in the dexterity. Like my wrist still hurt from playing because I'm not used to bending it unless I'm doing something wrong. But calluses are built, I am more mobile, and like, how do I explain it? I can move it around the frets. I can move it around the frets more confidently and still hit notes. And this is 2 months of playing and still being on the second string. And it's natural to have self-doubt. It's natural to question our own ability when we don't have a baseline. It's like, I'm so awful. I shouldn't even be playing in the first place. But the thing is, like, if hypothetically, if I don't have anxiety that does this anymore, but if I had anxiety that was like, why are you playing guitar, Lev? You're fucking awful at it. There's no point. You should just give up now. I would say to it, yes, I start out awful, but that's the point because I literally don't know how to play guitar. And it's completely unrealistic to expect that I can just pick up a guitar and play like Ed Sheeran. It's not going to work like that because there's no background being built. There's no skills being built. Like, I can't just play at a pro level without building skills over time. Skill attainment doesn't happen like this. And the other part of this, like, self-doubt stuff is not punishing myself for being awful at it. There have been periods where I just start second guessing and I'm like, I can't like get it right. Like, even just the basic, I'm like, when I try to play on the second string, I keep squishing the first string and I didn't kill it enough, my fingers, and I keep hitting the first string and I just end up muting the sound of the first string when I'm playing on the second string. And I'm just like, I was like, oh, I can't do it. Like, I just forced myself to be able to do it, and it didn't work. And then I sort of flipped it. I'm like, all right, you play like garbage, literally. Like, don't intentionally play like garbage. Don't intentionally mute the string. But if you mute the string, it's fine. Like not punishing myself for not being able to do something that I have not learned yet, essentially. Not punishing myself for not being able to do something that I have not learned yet. And you shouldn't punish yourself for not being able to do something or finding something difficult, although you haven't learned it yet, although you haven't built the skills for it yet, although you haven't had years of experience behind it. So yeah, that's what I've been doing, and it's hilarious, but I've actually been progressing more than when I try to force myself to be like, "Oh, do it, why is it not working?" Instead, I just show up, I play. Even if I play awfully, I'm like, okay, if you mute the string, you mute the string, just keep playing anyway. And eventually you will subconsciously get used to not muting the string, and then you end up not muting the string. Even though you don't force yourself to not mute the string, you end up learning it anyway by just showing up and not punishing yourself for doing something that's not doing something that's not ideal while skill building. Basics are essential. Basics are the absolute foundation of anything, really. Like whatever we're trying to do, any skill, hobby, activity, job, whatever it may be, the basics are the foundation of the important skill sets and things that need to be known and learned in that particular thing. For me, it's guitar, and also drumming. It's like, if we don't have the basics down packed and we don't spend time and energy in working on the basics and getting confident and good at the basics, then trying to do more difficult things down the line, in the case of music, playing more advanced things down the line, it's going to be much harder, because if we skip basics or just fast forward basics essentially and jump straight to advanced stuff, as I have learned in the past with drumming, it's going to be ineffective. There's no skills. There's no, say, a little portfolio of learning. There is no portfolio of learning to support the more advanced, difficult things that I'm trying to do. Because I basically skipped it, I fast forwarded it, and it's pretty much empty. And there's nothing supporting the more higher level stuff. And the other thing that I think is important to remind ourselves is that our brains, our nervous systems, I don't know, in the case of me playing guitar, my finger dexterity, the muscle, the fine motor movements associated with picking and fret hands, all need time to develop too. So it's not just a mental game, it's also a physiological game. And this, I believe, it applies to everything. So in the context of guitar, like the muscles have to learn how to adapt to the certain motions. My brain has to learn how to control it and play notes and stuff. And the other interesting thing about the brain is that the neurological patterns change in response to environment and learning. So literally, my brain pathways and neurons are the brain cells essentially. Neurons literally reorganize and shape itself as I'm learning new skills. For example, playing guitar. Literally, the brain physically changes shape in response to learning and the environment. So there's that to keep in mind too. Everything happens. Like, it's not just willpower be like, I'm going to play super advanced guitar even though I never picked up a guitar before. Willpower is great. Determination is great. However, there's also reality. And reality can't always keep up with determination and the mental image of where we want to be at at that certain point in time, sometimes reality doesn't keep up with it and it's not realistic. Say if I say I want to play guitar like Ed Sheeran tomorrow, I'm definitely not going to be at that level, and it's completely unrealistic for me to achieve that goal overnight. So yeah, there's that too. The physiological, the brain connections, everything changes and everything needs time to adapt and get used to it. And as for the physical side of things, like the body carries stress. Like there's stress hormones, there's the nervous system, the flight or fight responses, like all these things that we don't necessarily think about that actually affect our health, well-being, and everything. Say, for example, we're learning something brand new or doing something for the first time, it can be nerve-wracking. And that's mental and physiological and physical. It's not just mental. Sometimes when I feel super tense about something or stressed, I feel tension in my body, and that's a physiological response as well as mental. So there's a lot of things at play. Take, for example, a different example. When I made my first ever video, like it's not on this channel, it's like the first YouTube channel I ever tried to start, and it was complete unsuccess, and I deleted the channel one day after posting my video online, because I had way too much anxiety. When I filmed that video, I didn't know how to edit. I literally posted it up raw with all my awkwardness and blanks and whatnot because I didn't know how to edit. I didn't even know how to film properly. I didn't know camera angles. I literally knew nothing. I just picked up a camera and started filming, essentially. And I was shit scared. I was shit scared posting the video. I was shit scared filming the video. It was terrifying. And then posting it was terrifying, leaving it up all night. It was terrifying. It was too scary to the point where I deleted the channel with that one video that I posted. And when I restarted doing YouTube, I still felt the nerve posting my first video on this channel. And I don't feel that anymore when I film videos, like filming this video, filming videos now, and posting videos. I don't feel that same physiological tension and stress and anxiety that I have when I started doing YouTube, because shit, I've been doing YouTube for almost 5 years now. Like on this channel, I've been making videos and content for almost 5 years. So this 5-year portfolio, essentially, it's almost 5 years, just roll with it. This 5-year portfolio of experience, growth, skill development, self-confidence building, destroying self-doubt with concrete evidence, and just repeating the same thing over and over and over, and becoming more competent with it over time. I don't feel that physical tension as I film videos and upload them anymore, like I did when I started. So yeah, that's an example of the physiological side of things too, and how skill building and having experience under our belts can really help mitigate distressing things that come out of the thing we're trying to do. In summary, we all suck when we start out at something. We're all awful. I am not excuse for that. We're all bad. We don't know what the hell we're doing. We're fumbling through things. There's self-doubt, there's anxiety, there's uncertainty. They may be questioning me like, oh, why? Like, am I really cut out for this? Am I really going to make it? Am I really going to be able to learn this thing? Because I'm absolutely awful at it. Which we're awful at something we don't know, and we're awful at something we haven't learned yet. So that happens to all of us. And yeah, there's the self-doubt, the anxiety, am I really cut out for this? Am I going to be good at this? Etc, etc, etc. We all start out like that because it's a new thing. If it wasn't a new thing and we're very familiar with it, then those feelings are, I'm not saying it won't arise, but from my experience, it's not as intense. The self-doubt and the anxiety, it's not as intense because there is concrete evidence to counter it. Yeah, basically we're all awful and we're not very good at it when we start, but that's the point. It's because we are starting to build a foundation, we're starting to build a baseline, we're starting to learn basics and the foundational skills, info, knowledge, or whatever we're trying to do, whether it's a new job, picking up a new instrument, starting a new hobby, starting a new activity, whatever it may be. It can be anything. We're all awful and that's okay. And we have to be awful and we have to be trash at the thing before we become good at the thing. Yeah, that's a line to remember. We have to be trash at the thing before we can become good at the thing. So, yep. That's all I had for this video. Thank you for watching, folks, and I will see you in the next video.